Hey gardeners, welcome to the Urban Gardener. My name is Enoch and this is our garden journal. All right everybody, welcome back to our garden journal videos here on the Urban Gardener, and I hope that all of you are having a really great growing season so far. And if you haven't had the opportunity yet to check out our summer garden tour videos, I've got some links right down below in the description to those two videos. We put out a set of videos to show all of the really great unique growing spaces that we have here in our urban gardens and all of the wonderful things that we've got growing in them. So I really encourage you to take a few minutes, check out those videos. But for today, we're going to go through and do a couple of things and catch up on a few things that I need to get done around here, because we've been kind of on a little bit of a hold pattern right now in our gardens because of the summer weather and heat. And here in the West Coast, we deal with a lot of different wildfires during the summer, which again, as we were hoping wasn't going to be the case this year, is the case. So we've got a lot of smoke in the air and a lot of 100-degree temperatures over the last few weeks. So I haven't necessarily been able to get out and do some of the things in the garden, or at least I haven't wanted to get out and do anything in the garden. It's not really that fun to be working in 100+ degree temperatures, and on top of that, to have all of the smoke in the air as well. But today, it's a little bit clear. It's still pretty warm, but I've got to get down and get something done that hasn't been done or taken care of in the last couple of weeks, as I've been meaning to get done, is harvesting our potatoes. I've got a bunch of different container potatoes, plus our potatoes growing in a cardboard box that we did this year, following Mark from Self-Sufficient Me, who did that potato growing experiment this last season. So we thought we'd try it this season. So we're gonna get down inside of that cardboard box and see what kind of harvest we can get from those potatoes growing in that box. But before that, I've got something I want to show you and kind of catch up with something that was going on in one of our last summer garden tour videos, and kind of show you one of the problems we've had, as it's the end of the life of this particular plant. So all right, over here in our side garden, along with our corn that we're growing not so successfully this season, we do have a few little tiny ears that have formed on all of our different stalks, but for the most part, I'm not too sure if it was the variety or what, but they didn't really grow to their full potential this year. But a plant that did grow to its full potential was my Armenian cucumber that we grew right along the bottom and the base of these corn plants here. And it really did well this year and spread out all over the place, way back behind me, all the way up and through our fence here and onto the other side. We even have fruits growing over there in our patio area. Now with cucumbers and squash, and similarly melons as well too, they're really susceptible to powdery mildew. Powdery mildew is a fungal infection that shows up on your plants in little patches of white powder looking substance, like someone spread powdered sugar onto your plants. Now there are a few different treatments that you can do in order to try to combat powdery mildew as it starts to set in. But in my case here, again, I haven't been out in the garden over the last couple of weeks because of the hot, extreme weather and all of the different smoke in the air and those sort of things that have kind of kept me from doing the things I needed to do to kind of treat this plant when it started setting that powdery mildew early. So powdery mildew, if it's not treated, will spread very fast, and it can take out a plant really quickly. As soon as the powdery mildew started to spread, This plant was taken out in probably about a week pretty much, and I consider it pretty much done. So we're gonna have to clean this up, pull this plant out of here, and take out some of the remaining fruits that are left on the plant. We've got some pretty good sized ones here, as you can see here. This is a pretty good sized Armenian cucumber. So let's cut that off here. They're not too bad size, pretty tasty size right here. But we also have one here that's more true to the name of the cucumber, which is yard-long, Armenian yard-long cucumbers. And this one I've let kind of grow and grow and grow on the plant quite a bit, as you can see. Look at the size of that one. Now, fruits at this size, when they get this big, are probably not as tasty, and the seeds inside are going to be really hard as they've formed pretty much solid as this plant has gotten to a mature size. As with most cucumbers, you want to get them before they really ripen up and get to full size. About halfway through the growing process is a really optimal stage for cucumbers. Again, so you're not getting all those really hard seeds in the middle, and you got a nice juicy flavor as well too. So I'm gonna get these cleared out of here, and we're gonna pull this plant out and clear out this garden bed and get it ready for some fall plants that we've got coming up here in a few weeks. So there we go. We've got our space all cleared out for the next plants of the season. And we got a couple of more Armenian cucumbers. One that was stuck between the fence, grew in between the fence there. And then we did get a couple of little, I guess, mini corn cobs here. So those will be nice. We'll have those tonight for sure. So all right, quickly here, I want to show you all our peach tree that we featured from the very beginning of the season when we pruned it back all the way through growing flowers. And now I'm about to harvest off all of these delicious looking, in fact, I know they're delicious. I've actually eaten a couple, but they're very delicious, small little peaches, but we've got enough of them where we'll have plenty here. I'll have fresh and then freeze enough too to be used later on as well. So all those really nice peaches grown in a container. So this just goes to show you, you guys all could grow your own delicious fruit almost anywhere. I mean, you could put in a container in a lot of different places, in a lot of small space locations, and you could grow yourself some nice, delicious peaches. So now that we have taken off all of the peaches off of this tree, we have now relieved this tree of all of that weight from all of those fruits on the tree. So now these limbs can start to come back up, strengthen up, and then get ready to start growing us hopefully even more peaches next year. Also, look at this. I do believe I talked about this in our summer garden tour, but I planted this, what's called a cardinal climber, up on this lattice that I have attached to the side of this wall of our carport here. And it's really just taken off and growing wild over the last couple of weeks. And it's even grabbing a hold of our poblano pepper plants here, trailing all the way around. Our coleus climbing back up, as well as the top part here is starting to climb up into the rafters of our carport. And yeah, we're gonna have to cut that thing back. That's going pretty wild, but hopefully it'll put out some flowers here real soon. Haven't seen any flower buds or anything, but maybe they'll start forming when it gets cooler here. But really cool plant, grows just like a morning glory. In fact, I think they are related, so it's to be expected that it's going to try to get into every crack and corner of everything and just grow completely mad. So yep, hopefully we can show some flowers here real soon. So now on to harvesting our container potatoes. Now, I originally wasn't intending on growing potatoes, but this last winter and into spring, I started noticing some of the soil from last year's harvest was producing new potato plants. And at that point, I decided that we might as well go ahead and try growing a few potatoes in some of our containers, plus check out how well the ones that volunteered for us did. And then I saw a video from Mark from the channel called Self-Sufficient Me, and last year he grew potatoes in just a cardboard box, and I thought I'd give that a try as well this year too. So let's get down into these containers and see what kind of potato harvest we end up with here. And I don't know what kind of potatoes they are too. I can't remember exactly what variety would be. I think I probably grew a couple of different varieties. So we've got a kind of potatoes in these containers. So let's dump them out and see what we got. Well, ultimately, we didn't get very many out of those smaller containers there, but it's not too bad for volunteers. So all right, now let's dig into one of our regular storage containers and see how well some of the seed potatoes that we planted out this year have done. Now the plants still have just a little bit of green left on them, but I'm pretty sure that our potatoes are pretty fully grown. So let's dig in here, see what we got. So again, nice little harvest there, not too bad. Probably about a little over a pound to 2 maybe pounds there that we got out of that container. So all right, now for the one I know we've all been waiting for, or at least I know I've been waiting for, is how well these potatoes have done inside of our cardboard box. Now, I really like this idea of utilizing a cardboard box. It's using quite a bit less plastic in our garden, and at the end of the season, this frail cardboard box that's been weathered throughout the season can just be broken down and put into our compost bin. And the worms in our compost bin are going to love this. It'll break down and really make for some great soil for use later on in your gardens. So a nice biodegradable choice in growing different plants. You can probably grow different plants in here and do the same thing. We're just doing potatoes this year because that's what I saw on the video and gave me the idea to try this out. So hopefully we got a lot of really good potatoes in here. I'm not exactly sure what variety I picked. I just got some really inexpensive seed potato from one of our big box greenhouses. So hopefully, again, got a nice harvest. Let's break this down and see what we got in there. So all right, ultimately, again, just a nice little harvest. We got a couple of different varieties there, it looks like, but maybe just a little over a pound or so of potatoes. So all in all, not that much, but it's nice to have a little bit of potatoes when you ultimately weren't planning on growing them anyways. And like I was saying though too, get one of these little tiny potatoes here after we've harvested all of these potatoes up. There's probably several that are still inside this soil. So as this gets all mixed up and utilized for other containers, other raised beds and garden beds that we have around the garden, it's a likelihood that we could get more potato volunteers this next season. And maybe we'll try some more different varieties in a cardboard box. Wow, I cannot believe the size of this Armenian yard-long cucumber. It's really huge, really fun to grow this season. Too bad the plant just didn't make it just a little bit longer to produce a little bit more of the smaller, sweeter fruits, but fun enough to grow and try out as a new variety in our garden this year. I hope that all of you have enjoyed our video this week. We did only get just a little bit of potatoes out of our potato harvest, so it wasn't much this year, but always fun to try and see what we can get. Some years better than others. And like I said, you can check out some of those videos down below in the description of our past potato harvest videos. And also, one of the things that you can do to really help out the channel is that YouTube really likes it when you take off from this video when you're finished and you click one of the links either down in the description of one of our other videos, like those past potato harvest videos, or even one of our videos that YouTube suggests for you in the suggested videos. Now, go check out one of those other videos and keep following along with us here on the Urban Gardeners. We continue growing here as we're getting ready to get started with all of our fall gardening this year. So hopefully we'll be able to get something really growing on real soon. Again, I thank you so much for joining with me. Oh, one other thing. If you haven't yet already joined our Facebook gardening group, I'd love for you to come and join our Facebook gardening group. There's also a link down below in the description to that Facebook gardening group, the Let's Get Growing group, where you can share all the wonderful things that you're growing with all of us here in the Urban Gardener community. I'll see all of you next week. But I hope that everybody has had an opportunity and a chance, though, to watch our garden tour. But I hope that everybody has had a chance, though, to get it. So if you haven't already, down below in the links, down below in the links. Again, I did that again. I don't know why I can't say that right. Of garden tour videos for our summer garden tour. Best to kind of get those things for eating just a bit before they start to open right. Oh, that's not exactly how I wanted to talk about this. Fruits all over it. It is less all of that less. Limbs can start to come back up, strengthen up, and grow again. Grow again. Oh. Our various different containers to see what kind of potato. What kind of? I really don't even know what kind of potatoes these are. They're just left over from last year. There were a couple of varieties last year, but I really like this idea of the. I just totally almost fell over. All right, let's get on a new day.